All right, everyone, we are back. Make sure your cameras are on. Perfect. All right, if anybody's watching on YouTube, just send me a message on the YouTube Live to let me know that you're there. For everybody else here on Zoom, if you have questions along the way, always drop them in the Zoom chat, okay? All right, hey Valerie, Happy New Year. Okay. And Jeanette, Happy New Year. All right, great. So we're going to go over Chapter 6, guys. We're going to talk about transferring and recording title to real estate. Now, this is not a long chapter, but it entails a lot of information. So I prefer to go slow, and that's the only chapter we're going to cover today, okay? Carly, where can you see the student ID for the check-in app? That's what you're asking for? So the check-in app for you guys to check your time in and time out. I have an actual Zoom call with them tomorrow because there's some type of issue. I have a Zoom call with support tomorrow. So once I have that resolved tomorrow, hopefully, we will enable it for everybody, okay? So at this moment, don't worry, I'm doing all the work manually. That's why I get out of here at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're reviewing everything, making sure you guys were there for the whole time. Those of you that were watching TV, I was watching the same show as you during that time at 1 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, so tomorrow, hopefully, everything will be running as far as the check-in app. Okay, so as of right now, we're not using the check-in app. Make sure you download it, make sure you have it ready, because hopefully tomorrow, all I'll do is I'll show you here on the screen a QR code. That's what you're going to scan, or an ID that I'll provide you. That's what you're going to scan at the beginning of every chapter, and it will let you know that you logged in and you participated. So for the first couple of days, I dealt with it, okay? Hello. Okay. Almost on, okay. All right, you're forgiven. You brought me food, you're forgiven. That's it. Guys, we're taking a break. I'm going to eat right now. All right. You ready? Great. Printed? Okay, great. All right, cool. So, like I said, guys, this chapter that we're going to cover today is the only chapter we're covering because it's a lot of info, right? And we're going to talk about transferring and recording title. Now, I got a question for you guys because I like to start with questions and keep everything fresh. All right. I received a couple messages today saying that yesterday was a little bit confusing or had struggled yesterday. That's perfectly fine. It's just the second day. One of the things that you'll notice is that I keep on going back and forth with terms and stories, so it will help you catch up. So if you have questions, ask the questions. Don't just say, oh, Bruno, I did not get it. No. Ask the questions specifically. Whether it's during class or after class, I'm available for you, okay? So right now, my question to you, since you don't ask questions, I will. My question to you is, what does transferring mean? Give me another word for transfer that you've learned over the past couple of days. Another word for transfer. Well, we're going to transfer title, but what's the word for transferring? This right here, transferring. All right, conveyance. Perfect, 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 perfect. So convey or conveyance, right? And when we transfer title, guys, when we transfer title, we're going to have something called a deed of conveyance, a deed that transfers, okay? So perfect. Always associate convey with transfer and transfer with convey. Always, okay? Hey, Sanam, there you go. So transferring is not moving, but I like the way you thought of it because if we have a conveying belt, for instance, conveying belt, it transfers from one place to another. So that's what it would be. In this case, we're talking about title. So it's transferring from the seller to the buyer. That's deeds of conveyance, okay? So let's start with title to real estate. There's two different types of title. There's legal title and there's equitable title. Legal title, equitable title. Okay? Under legal title and equitable title, we have two major distinctions here. So owning title to real estate or to real property commonly connotes owning a complete bundle of rights. So when you have the title, you have a complete bundle of rights, right? So you have the title to the real estate, meaning your name is there. You have a complete bundle of rights. And these attach to the property, right? Including the right of possession. That's what it makes, once you have right of possession, if you guys remember, that's what makes it an estate. It's something you own, and now you have the right of possession, estate. Okay? Now, more accurately, someone who possesses all ownership interests, so if you have all the interests, you have legal title. If you have all the interests, you have legal title. That means your name is legally marked on the title, and nobody can take it away from you because your name is there. You are what we call the owner of record. So if I search your property right now, if you're a homeowner, if I search your property right now in public records, whose name am I going to see there? Hopefully, your name, right? Because you are the owner of record. You are the one with legal rights to the property, legal title, right? Guys, I see a lot of people with their cameras off. Make sure you have your camera on. Otherwise, it does not count towards your hours, okay? All right. Next, we have legal title is distinct from equitable title. See, equitable title means we have an interest or right to obtain legal title, okay? To obtain. So an equitable title means we have some type of equity or value, because that's what equity means. Go over here. Equitable means valuable. You have a value into the property. And I'll give you several examples right now. For instance, if I put a contract to purchase, like I put an offer on your property right now, okay? I put an offer on your property. I put $1,000 as a good faith deposit, for instance, right? $1,000 as a good faith deposit. Technically, I have $1,000 worth of equity into your property. That means you cannot sell the house to anybody else until you give me my $1,000 back. You understand? Until we cancel the contract and you restitute me of the money that I put in, you cannot sell. Like a mortgage company. When they lend you money, they lend you $300,000 for you to buy the house. Well, they give you value, right? They give you value into the property. They give you money. There's equity. There's value. So you cannot sell the house. And if you guys remember from yesterday, we talked about encumbrances, right? And one of them is called a lien, right? That's what allows us to put a lien into the against the property, because there's a value against the property. There's money involved, equity. All this has to do with the same thing, which is money. Okay? So a mortgage, when they lend you $300,000 for you to buy your house, they're putting equity of $300,000 or value of $300,000 into your house. Can you sell the property without paying off your mortgage? Most likely not. Okay? Most of the mortgages say no. Most of the mortgage agreements say no. Until you pay off your mortgage, you cannot flip it to anybody else. Okay, so you always have to pay off what's before. And that's why a lien is an encumbrance. It's a financial claim against the property. You guys remember this from yesterday? Thumbs up? Okay. If you don't, yep, Chaz, Cloud, perfect. If you don't remember, if you have questions, drop a question mark, type your question, and I'll address it, okay? Very important. Good? Great. You prefer being here because yesterday was confusing? Did not understand anything? That was Amberson's fault though. He was distracting. I saw it right behind you. Even before.
Like starting with the login.
All right. Some chapters are more confusing than others, and that's why, like today, I use it to piggyback on it and do a review. So hopefully we'll clear up today. All right, Miss Loyal, how do people sell their houses if they don't pay off their loan yet? That's a great question. We have another chapter for that, but it's called assuming a mortgage. So you literally can take over somebody's mortgage. They leave and you take over the payments if the bank allows you to assume, right? So it could be by agreement with the bank or without the bank's knowledge. But we'll talk about that in chapter 17, which is real estate financing. Okay? All right. So you guys by now know the difference between legal title and equitable title, right? Legal title means my name is on it. Simple. Equitable title means I have the right to it, but my name is not there. So like a mortgage company, if you don't pay the mortgage, they have equity, they have value into your property, and they can foreclose, right? When I put an offer, from the offer, accepted, and then until we close, I have equity into your property. You cannot sell to anybody else unless you buy me out. Equity means you have value into the property, somebody else's property.
Like lending, everything gets organized. Like,
you can call it a security, yeah. Yeah. So as you pay off your loan, you gain more equity, so you gain more value, you have more security, the collateral. Yeah, absolutely. You can think about it that way. Okay. Okay. Next we have notice of title at the bottom of this page. Guys, if anybody has a question, make sure drop a question mark. All right. By the end of the week, you guys should be very comfortable with all these terms. All right. So, another thing, make sure, I've mentioned before last night and I'll mention again today, make sure you guys use Quizlet. Quizlet will keep these terms fresh for you. All right, it's flashcards, keep on going at it, okay? So notice of title. First of all, what is notice? Notice is disclosure always. So when you give notice to somebody, you're like, hey, by the way, you're giving a disclosure of something, right? That's what it is. Notice of title is disclosure of title. So in any legal system that permits private ownership of real estate, there will always be disputes as to who truly owns a particular parcel of real estate. For example, guys, I want you to help me out here. Right here. An owner might sell his property to 3 unrelated parties. You don't have to underline, you don't have to highlight. Okay, this is just a question, and I want to see what you guys' thoughts are, okay? So, the owner might sell the property to 3 different people. How is that possible? Crazy, right? But look at this. The first party that I sold to, right, they bought the property at the earliest date. So the first party bought it at the earliest date. It was the first one. So, Sandra, I sold to you first, okay? The second party pays the highest price. So the second party pays the highest price. So, Douglas, you're paying the highest price, okay? And then the third party receives the best deed, which is called a warranty deed, right? So Tanya, you get the warranty deed. So now we have 3 people. We have Sandra, which was the first person, right? We have Douglas, which paid the highest price for the property. Instead of $300, he paid $400 for the property. And then we have Tanya that received the deeds to the house. The question is, who owns the legal title to the property? Who's the actual owner of the property? Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Who is the legal title? Is the person that was there first, the person that paid the most, or the person that has a title? So is it Sandra, Douglas, or Tanya in this case? Okay. All right, great. A lot of good answers, a lot of good questions as well. Great. Okay, some of you say title, some of you say the first, some say second. So a lot of what I'm trying to get at here, like you guys are giving me so many different answers. You see, everybody has a different perspective of who's the actual owner. So let's figure it out. See, very important. Ownership of legal title, guys, pay attention to this. Ownership of legal title is a function of evidence. Okay? So if there's no evidence to who owns what, then do you really own it? The only other way, and give me a second, the only other way to know that you might have some rights to it is possession. You guys remember squatters' rights? Right? We talked about yesterday, squatters' rights, adverse possession or easement by prescription, right? If I sit on the property for 20 years in the state of New Jersey as an example, if I sit on the property, I might have a legal claim and title to the property at some point, right? So evidence is key, either by title or by possession, one or the other. You guys with me so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far. Okay, don't give me thumbs up if you have doubts. I want to make sure you're good, okay? So a court will generally rule that the person who has preponderance of evidence of ownership is the owner. Whoever has evidence is the owner of the property. So in the example, if the first two buyers, let me zoom in so we scroll through this, okay? Right here. If the first two buyers did not receive the deed, right? Did not receive the deed while the third party did, then the third party may have the best evidence. Okay? They may have the best evidence, but wait, that doesn't mean it's true. Right? They may have, it's not guaranteed, they may have the best evidence because they have the deed. Right? So Tanya, at this moment, is the one winning, is the one with the best evidence so far, right? And they will probably be ruled the legal title holder. So again, Tanya, because she has a deed, she might be the one winning so far. However, okay, things get tricky. However, what if the first buyer had moved into the house, right? First buyer, so Sandra moved into the house and occupied it for 6 months before the original owner sold the property to the, so I'm going very slow here, to the second and third parties. Okay? So at this moment, who has the best evidence? Right? Sandra is like, hey, I was first. I've been here for 6 months. I was first. What do you mean they sold it to somebody else? No, they sold it to me. I've been here for 6 months as the owner of the property, right? Occupying the property, possessing the property, using the property in any legal manner. So technically, Sandra is the one now with the best evidence because she has possession of the property. Why else will we have possession of the property? Does that make sense so far, right? Here's the other question. What if the second buyer, so Douglas, what if Douglas, after searching the title, right, reports that the seller never really owned the property? So wait, I sold to Douglas and I was not even the owner of the property, right? And therefore, I could not legally sell it to anyone. So now, who owns the property? So if I cannot sell to Sandra, if I cannot sell to Douglas, and if I cannot sell to Tanya, then who owns the property? Are you guys understand this so far? So there's a lot of questions here to who has the right to do what. So Christine's asking, how is it even possible to do that? Well, listen, everything is possible. Right? If you find my phone right now, if you find my phone somewhere, is it possible that you sell it? Right? You found my phone, you're selling it. Is it possible that I sell somebody else's property? It's just a document. Right? The key is that there's no legal way or there's no best way or correct way or defined way to determine who has the right to do what. So what we created is two forms of title evidence. Okay? Because there's no absolute way to do this. What we created was two forms of title evidence. We have something called actual notice, and we have something called constructive notice. Okay? There's actual notice and there's constructive notice. You guys remember what the word notice meant? I said it a few minutes ago. What does the word notice mean? Did anybody tell me? iCarly for the win. Disclosure. Perfect. So notice means disclosure. So it's either you have actual disclosure or you have constructive disclosure. Okay? So as a seller, all I have to do is give a disclosure. Your side of it is to receive the disclosure and then either know about it, right? Have actual notice of it, actual knowledge of it, or, yeah, I know it's available somewhere. Because that's what constructive notice is. We're going to go over that right now. That's what constructive notice is. It's just, it's available. Okay, so actual notice, I actually know the information. Constructive notice, it's available somewhere. Okay? So actual notice means you have actual knowledge of something. So when we search public records, guys, when we search public records, we now know who the owner is. Okay? We now know if there's a mortgage or not. Right? So let me give you the best example. You guys know that all the pages to this book is available in the student portal, right? You guys know that we're going to cover several chapters. That's called constructive notice. I made it available for you, so you guys have access to it. There's constructive notice. I gave a constructive disclosure. It's there. It's available. Actual notice is what you guys have right now as you're reading this sentence right here. You have actual notice because now you have actual knowledge. Does that make sense? You got to remember this. Actual notice means you know about it. I disclosed and you know about it. Constructive notice means I disclosed, but you still did not research. You still have no actual knowledge. It's available, but you do not know it yet. Okay? So constructive notice, right here. Constructive notice is knowledge that a person could have or should have obtained. Could or should have obtained. It was available. So when we file a deed into public records, I'm going to put a deed right now into public records. I don't have to tell you, potential buyer, let's see, who's going to be the potential buyer? Ruth. You're going to be the potential buyer, right? I don't have to tell you, hey, Ruth, here's my deed. Look, the deed says I'm the owner right here. I don't have to. It's assumed that that record is in public records, and you, Ruth, because you're the one with interest in the property, you're the one that needs to research information about the property that you're about to buy. I don't have to provide it to you. It's already in public records. So constructive notice is information that's available. Okay? Carly, perfect. It's information that's available, so it's constructive. And the moment you research, perfect answer, question right there. The moment you research, it now becomes actual notice. It was once constructive because it was available. It's now actual because you know it. You got it? Like Google. All the information on Google is constructive notice. Once you search Google, right, it gives you answers. Now you have actual notice. Okay? Can a squatter sell a property that they have taken over? Once they have legal title, yeah, why not? Once they have legal title, they can definitely sell the property. Remember, after a certain period of time, we call it the statutory period, right? After a certain period of time, they can actually go to court and say, hey, I want to claim the permanent right to use. Okay, that's where the easement is created. Permanent right to use, because the word easement means a right to somebody else's property. Okay, and then at the same time, I can apply for a lawsuit called quiet title that says, now that I have the right to use, because I've been here for 20 years or 30 years or whatever the statutory period is, now that I have the right to use, Your Honor, please transfer the title to that piece of land or the whole land to me, right? So a squatter could then sell the property. Yes. Okay? Anyway. Any questions regarding constructive notice and actual notice before I move forward? YouTubers, Zoomers, questions about active notice and constructive notice before I move forward? I want to make sure you guys are clear on the difference between these two. You got it, right? Good. Your Google example was great. Thank you. All right. I got good feedback from YouTube. Sanam says he's good. What else? Anybody else? No questions? You guys got it? Don't ask me tomorrow, because then I'm going to show the replay of this session that says I asked 1,000,000 times, ask me questions. I'm just kidding, okay? You can always ask questions. All right, so next thing we got is transferring title. What did I say? Oh, another word for transferring, yeah. I think you guys know by now. Right? Everybody knows the other word for transferring, right? You guys got it? Conveyance. There you go. Didn't get there yet. Easy. All right. So transfer title to real estate is called alienation. Okay. Let me zoom out. It's called alienation and occurs voluntarily and involuntarily. So you can voluntarily sell the property, right? Or you can involuntarily lose the property. Now, when the transfer uses a written instrument, it's called a conveyance. All right, a couple of things to clear here. Alienation and instrument, okay? No. And that's why I want to clear here what instrument means. I'll talk about alienation in a second. I want to go over instrument right now. So you could have a guitar, right? A guitar is a musical instrument, right? It's the tool that we use to play music, for instance. If you're a surgeon, right, you're going to have all those crazy tools for the surgery. They are called instruments. They're medical instruments, okay? In this case, the document, right? The document is the tool that we use to document something. It's a written instrument. It's a tool we use to evidence, right? So instrument simply means it's what we use or the tool we use for some particular purpose. Musical instruments, medical instruments, and so on. Okay? You guys good with the word instrument? Because you're going to see it a lot of times. You're going to see instrument a lot of times. And I want to make sure that when you, let's say you're going to do a title search, let's say you're looking for records on your property, it's going to say instrument number, whatever. That means document number, right? It was the document that was used to identify or to evidence that particular transaction or that particular property or whatever it is. So the word instrument, in terms of title, is documents that we use as a tool to evidence something. Okay? No. Two different things. It's like I said, guitar. Guitar is an instrument, but we don't say, hey, bring me that instrument. We say, no, bring me that guitar. So in this case, okay, what I'm trying to say is title. Everybody's going to say, bring me that deed or that document, right? It's an instrument, right? Just like the piano. You don't say, bring me the instrument with the keys. No, you bring me the piano, right? And so on. All right, so instrument means document in this case, the document that's used as a tool. All right. Guys, cameras on, and make sure you're not traveling. Make sure you don't have any distractions, please. All right. Now, another word that we have here that's crazy is alienation. Okay. Let's go here real quick. Okay. Now, it's not alienation. It's alienation, meaning a separation of aliens. And what is alien? Let's go over this word, alien, real quick. That means, what is alien? What does it mean? Guys, alien, what does it mean? It refers to us as a person? Okay. We're aliens? All right. Great answers. Charlie said stranger. Money. Who said money? How is alien money? Oh, I get it. I get it. Because it's green. So if it's green, it's alien. A movie. Carlos, you're funny. A movie. All right. Newcomer, says Calvin. So you guys are all aliens because you're the newcomers to the class. That's what it is, right? Here's the thing. Alien means foreign. Okay? Simple as that. So Sanam just said my husband is an alien. I saw that. Just deleted it. I'm like, my husband. Don't delete stuff. I read it. I'm that fast. So let's think about it this way. I'm an alien because I was not born in this country. I'm a foreign to this country. I'm an alien. And a lot of us either have legal alien resident cards, right? Or at one point we were illegal aliens, that we were here without permission. Okay? So alienation simply means there's somebody foreign to the land. In this case, we have two things. Because we're talking about real estate. We have the house, and the house has a deed, right, that identifies who the owner is. The owner is John. Okay? John has the deed to the house. So John is not a foreigner to the house or to the land, right? John is not an alien. But Joe put an offer to buy the property. Right? Joe put an offer to buy the property. Joe is foreign. So Joe is the alien. Okay? Joe is the alien and John is the resident. Why? Because John is the one with the title to the property. So when we're talking about alienation, it's somebody from the outside, right, that wants to come inside, right? So Joe put an offer to buy this property, right? Joe put an offer. At this moment, Joe is the alien, okay? Once the sale happens, so let me put a separation here real quick. Once the sale happens, John is no longer there. Now it's Joe, right? So after it was sold, John is now an alien to the land because he sold it. You guys understand? Whoever the resident is whoever has the title or the deed to the house. That's the resident. Anybody from outside is an alien. So when we're talking about the word alienation, it's pretty much the sale to a stranger. Okay? Alienation is the sale to a stranger. That's why transfer of title, remember, John was here on the first side, and then Joe was on the other one, right? When the sale occurred, Joe became the resident and John became an alien to the land. So alienation is the transfer of title from one person to another. Okay? Let me know if you guys got this. Thumbs up? Good? All right. Questions? Don't forget, put a question mark in the Zoom chat and I will address it. Ruth, whoever does not own the house, there are aliens. Yes. They're not residents. Look, if you were born here in the United States, you are a resident. Anybody that comes from outside the United States, right, is an alien. The moment they became U.S. citizens, right, by naturalization, right, the moment they became U.S. citizens, they became, they're not aliens anymore. They're allowed to stay on the land. That's what it is. All right? So think about the green card as being a tenant, right? Allowed to be there instead of being a squatter. You're allowed to be there. And then if you became a citizen, you're now a resident of the United States. You're no longer foreign to the United States, right? So think about it that way. There's a sale, there's a transfer. When they transferred, whoever was from outside of the deal became now inside, so a resident. Whoever was inside now becomes an outsider. Okay? And Carly says, so the squatter is an alien. Yes, absolutely. So for a squatter to take over a property, they have to be there for a certain amount of years. They have to use the property. It's a hostile takeover without permission. So they're aliens to the title. They're not, their name is not there, right? So they're aliens. After statutory period, let's say 20 years, they can claim the land. And once they claim the land, they become the residents. So yes, a squatter is an alien. Perfect. Squatter is? So adverse possession or easement by prescription. Somebody that takes over a vacant property over certain years, right? Let's say you found $100 on the floor and you keep the money. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Simones, I just got your message. Your Zoom is not working. Okay. All right, cool. No problem. Whenever you have a chance, try to keep on trying to join, though, so it counts your credits. So, great question. All right, let me put this on the screen real quick because this is a great question. Not that the other ones are not, but this is a great question right here. You guys see it? Question from Carly is, so what about the others that live in the house but don't own it? What about the others that live in the house but do not own it? Their names are not on title. You're absolutely right. So if I live in the house but I'm not the owner of the house, I'm an alien. I'm allowed to be there, like a green card. I'm allowed to be there, but for purposes of a deed, okay, of who has the right to the property, like let's say my kids. My kids, they're not on the deed. So do they have rights to the property? No, not until I die. You guys got it? I'm the resident. Everybody else, because of the deed, because of the title, everybody else is an alien to the land. Okay? They don't have rights to the land until I pass those rights to them somehow, either by transferring the deed or by will. You guys got it? So this was a great question. And because we're talking about deed, we're talking about title, who owns what? Right? They don't have rights to it. They are kids, they're spouses, whatever, family members, whatever, but they don't have rights. They cannot sell the property. Can my kids sell the property? No, because I'm the one that's on title. I'm the one that has the record to the property. You guys got it? Thumbs up on that? Great, cool. All right, Brandon Leon, go ahead. All right, Miss Loyal, always put a question mark, please. Unless your name is on the title, you're the alien. Yes, you're foreign to the deed. You're foreign to the land. You're foreign to the title. Yes. I'll forgive you for now. It's okay. Brandon, can you define alienation for me once again? Sorry, I had to use the restroom. Watch the replay. Next. Just kidding. All right, real quick. We'll go back. Alienation. We got sorry, right there. Alienation. We have alien, right? That word right there means foreign. Okay, so alien, whoever's an alien, is a foreign person. Okay, so foreign, strange, right, to the land. What I said was, now we reverse these roles, so I have to go back. Okay, what I said was that John has the deeds to the house. Okay, Brandon, make sure you give me a thumbs up so I make sure you're not in the bathroom anymore. All right, you're good? All right, great. So John has the deeds to the house. So technically, John is the resident, okay? But then Joe puts an offer on the property. What is Joe to the title or to the property? What is Joe to the title of the property? Well, Joe is the alien. He's the alien because he's a foreigner. He's not part of the deed, and he has no rights to the property. He's putting an offer. But then when the property is sold, the roles reverse. Joe bought the property, so now Joe is the resident, right? And John, that sold the property, is a foreigner. They're out of the property, they're out of the title, so they are foreign. They're the alien now. That's what it is. Alienation is a transfer of title to somebody that was not part of it. Okay, so a foreigner. So I gave you the rights to be the citizen or the resident of the property. So you're the title holder, right? And me, I'm out of it now. I don't have any rights to the property. It's not my house. It's not my title. You got it? Great. All right, YouTubers, let me know that you got it. That you're good. All right, the next page. The next page we have transferring title to real estate. It could be voluntary or involuntary, so willingly or forcefully, right? Voluntary alienation. All right, Brendan Simons is back. Perfect. Voluntary alienation, it could be by public grant. It could be by grant, that means you gave it up to the municipality, for instance, or to the state. It could be by deed, that means you sold the property to somebody. Or it could be by will, that means in your will you transferred to your kids or your heirs or a spouse or whoever you named, or a separate company altogether. Like I left everything to Columbia University as an example, right? So that goes in the will. These are voluntary transfers. Involuntary transfers. Okay, we're going to talk about this over the next few chapters. Involuntary transfer, we have by descent. By descent means you prepared no will. There's no will prepared. Therefore, the government cheats you out of your property. The government gets the property because you failed to prepare a will and no heirs showed up. So I'm going to explain that in a second. Foreclosure, well, you did not pay your bills and they took the house away from you. Did you want that to happen? No. So it's involuntary. Eminent domain, we briefly talked about it yesterday through the process of condemnation. The government has the right to take your property for public good. So they can go to you and say, hey, I need Tatiana, I need your house. I need Ruth house. I need Paola, and I need Brandon Leon's house. So I need the 4 houses right here because we're going to knock it down and we're going to make a school for the community, right? So as long as it's for the greater good, it's to help the community. The government can go and tell you, hey, we condemn your property. We have to knock it down. So we're buying it for fair market value. So they have a fair compensation. That's called eminent domain. Yes, go ahead.
Right?
Oh, you don't have a right to say no, but you have the right to dispute the values.
Values, that you can.
You could try. Ask for more. It's the government we're dealing with. They do what they want, and we're just puppets. Next, adverse possession. By the way, I'm not anti-government. I'm not an anarchist, in case you were thinking about that. I believe in government. I believe in rules and regulations, because unfortunately we lack common sense, ethics, and all that good stuff. So we do need this rules and regulations. The problem is, just like everything else, once you're in power, you take advantage of it. That's the thing I don't agree with. All right, adverse possession, guys. Adverse possession is the squatter's rights. Did you ask for somebody to go squat on your property because you were not there for 20 years? You did not ask for it. But somebody was there. They used the property, right? Hostile, adverse, open and notorious. They were there. And we did not dispute it. So they took the property away from us. That's adverse possession. Or estoppel. And I would, we'll explain estoppel at the end. But the word already says everything. There's a stop. During the transfer, there's a stop. That means the previous person can no longer claim the property. There's a stop. Okay, but I'll explain that better later. Brandon Leon says, I would have seen you storming the Capitol building if you're on the news. Again, I'm not that kind of guy. I have other ways or other means of action. I avoid violence or anything like that at all costs. So the whole riot things that are happening right now, I don't agree with any of that. Violence does not fix problems. It creates more problems. So you got to work smart. That's it. All right, voluntary alienation we already covered. That's unforced transfer. Okay, we cover this. Moving forward, involuntary is without the owner's consent. Right? So we're moving forward. And then let's go to deeds of conveyance. What is a deed? Who can tell me what is a deed? Piece of paper? Ah, Carly, Christine. Nope. Nope. Legal document or instrument. Thank you, Antar. Thank you, Paola. And Jeanette, proof of transfer. Perfect. It's a legal document that proves transfer. That's it. It's not title. It's part of title. Okay, and we'll explain that also later on. But a deed is a document that proves that a transfer happened. That's it. Okay, it proves that transfer happened. It does not prove you had good title in the first place. If you guys remember, we started this chapter with 3 questions. I mean, 1 question for 3 people, which was the one that paid first, the one that paid the most, and the one that received the deed, right? And then the second person, Douglas, right? He went to research the records and found out that I could not even sell to you because I did not have legal title. So just because a deed exists doesn't mean that there's good title. So title is not deed, deed is not title. Title is a combination of things, as we'll explain later on, okay? So a deed is a document or an instrument that shows that a transfer occurred, okay? That's why it's called deed of conveyance. Deed of conveyance. So all it shows is proof of transfer. That's it. We're going to put this proof of transfer, proof or evidence of transfer. Okay, so it's a document or an instrument that proves a transfer happened. That's it. Okay? And I'll give you the best example. There's a lot of John Smiths in the world. It was one of the most common names in the United States for a very long time, until Gonzalez came along. But that's what it was. John Smith. There's a lot of John Smiths in the world. Okay. It's one of the most. It's either Gonzalez or Rodriguez. It's one of the most common names in the U.S. right now. You're laughing? True. So, but John Smith. So if I'm John Smith and you're John Smith, as an example, what stops me from selling your house? I'm John Smith. You are John Smith. We're the same person. So the deeds does not prove that you're the owner of record. It just proves that a transfer happened. Okay, we're gonna go over more stuff. Ruth, what is a public grant? We'll talk about it more later on. But a public grant is when, for instance, if you're a developer and you have you develop a big piece of land, you developed, right, a bunch of houses, and you have a road. If you did not make it private, like a private gated community, then it's a public road. If it's a public road, you have to grant it or gift it to the municipality. So you will gift the property to the municipalities when you're giving. So a public grant is that road, for instance, or you're saying, hey, government, municipality, I have this piece of land, I'm not doing anything with it, would you like it? So you're giving it for the government to do something with it. Maybe use it as a parking lot for the university. Maybe use it for housing for residents. Public grant is when you gifting or granting the property to the government. Okay, so that's public grant. Gotta put a string on this thing, it never drops. Right? They are connected somehow. But deed is not title and title is not deed. Yeah, they are connected because when you do a title search, you're going to see deed, you're going to see mortgages, you're going to see taxes, you're going to see municipal liens, water liens, like whatever it might be, everything is there. All those, the whole search is title. Shows that you're entitled to do something. Okay? Miss Loyal, so the deed is useless to have. No, because the deed proves that you as the buyer have the right to something. The deed proves that it was sold to you. Okay? So you might have a claim for monies, or you might have a claim to the actual property, whatever it might be. Because if I sold to you, if I'm the John Smith, right? The wrong John Smith, and I sold the right John Smith's property without his knowledge, right? And I sold it to you, Christine, right? You have the right, if the other John Smith shows up, you have the right to say, wait a minute, somebody got to pay me because I paid for this, right? So the other John Smith has to sue me as well or find me somewhere. So it's not like you lose the property, but this is why we get title insurance. This is why we get title insurance to protect you, Chrissy, to protect you from the wrong John Smith. Does that make sense? Who knows John Smith? You know John Smith, don't you? He knows. All right. So the deed is not useless. If you don't have a deed, it's a problem. Because you need to prove you are who you say you are. You have something in hand. Yeah. You might not be able to get permits or anything until you have show proof. There are different departments. There's public records, and then there's municipality, like the building department, zoning, and so on. Yeah, especially if you're asking for permits. Who are you, right? You got to show that you have the right to it. And if it's for a company, you need to have the articles of incorporation as well to show that that person is named in the document. All right, next.
all I'm doing is relation.
Everything.
I don't think
Because you have to prove they have the right to do anything to the property. Not just, hey, I'm a contractor. No. Who hired you, right? That's one of the things. And are they the owner of record? Yeah. All right, guys. So like I said, a deed is a legal instrument or document that transfers title. That's it. Okay. Now, execution of a valid deed in itself does not convey title. It is necessary, this is important, it is necessary for the deed to be delivered and accepted. So it's as simple as this. Let's say this is the deed. Okay, this mouse right here is the deed. Just because I wrote it and I signed it off on it does not mean that you are now the owner. Okay? Because if I sign it off to you, but then you're like, no, I don't want it. Are you the rightful owner now? No, you said you did not want it. So if there's no acceptance, then there's no transfer. Okay? So this is something that's very, very important. For a deed to be valid, there must be delivery and acceptance. Write this down somewhere. For a deed to be valid, there must be delivery and acceptance. Delivery and acceptance. Okay? All right. To be valid, next page. The deed must have a grantor, so seller, that is competent at the time of delivery. That means they're of sound mind. Competent, that means they're legal adults and of sound mind. That means they know what they're doing. Okay? And also, they must intend to deliver the deed. Okay? That means I intend to actually transfer it to you. Okay? So legal adult and of sound mind. Fully aware of what I'm doing. Sound mind. If you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, if you are mentally unstable, right? If you're elderly, right? We can always prove that the person, one of the parties, was taking advantage of the other party. So that's why when we're talking about competent parties, somebody that's doing out of their own free will. They fully understand what's happening. They intend to transfer the property. They're not being forced to do so. Otherwise, it's not valid. Okay? Now, right here it says in green, validity of the grantees. A grantee is the buyer, right? Validity of the grantee's acceptance requires only that the grantee have physical possession of the deed or record the deed. Very important right here. You guys notice, it says right here, physical possession of the deed. That means it's in my hand, right? I got the deed in my hand. I accepted it, okay? What I want you to show you that's very important is this or right here. Or record the deed. Why did I put this here? Because recording the deed is not essential. Okay? This is not essential. That's why it says or recording the deed. What is essential is that I have physical possession of it. Again, delivery and acceptance. Do I have to record the deed? No. That's not an essential thing for me to be the owner of, or to have that transfer, right? It's not essential, okay? Okay, Carly's asking, what if you're being coerced? Can you sue after? Yes, you can. Because you are not of sound mind. You're being forced into something, okay? Once accepted, so once I accept it either by physical possession or by recording, which is not essential, right? The title now passes to the buyer, to the grantee. The deed has fulfilled its legal purpose and it cannot be used again to transfer property. So once I gave you the deed, I cannot use the deed for anything else. Nor can I create a new deed, right? Nor can I create a new deed because I already sold it to you. Okay, so once I sold it to you or transferred to you, I cannot sell to anybody else. Oh, there are people that do it, but they can't. Okay, you cannot do that. So to be valid, validity. Very important, validity. And we're going to go over this in contracts as well. Validity. Depending on state law, a deed must meet the following requirements for validity. It must be delivered, and accepted, and we just talked about this. I must deliver it to you and you must accept it, right? Have a competent grantor and a legitimate grantee, right? Competent grantor, that means I'm of sound mind when I'm selling it to you. The grantor, which is the seller, must be living, of legal age, mentally competent. So if I'm dead, how can I sign a document to transfer? So the deed has to be prepared and delivered while I'm alive. After I die, it's called a will. The will make that transfer. You guys got it? So the deed can only be done when somebody's living. If the grantor is a corporation, then the signing party must be duly authorized. That means, let's say all of us, we're part of a corporation and we're going to sell a property. Well, we must agree on appointing one person to go sign for all of us. Okay, one representative. That's what it is. Authorized officer is one representative for the corporation. Okay? A deed has to be transferred in writing. In writing, so there's no verbal, hey, yeah, the land is yours, go ahead. No, it has to be in writing. It must contain a legal description, and we're going to talk about legal descriptions in a different chapter, but it must contain a legal description of what you're about to buy, what is yours now, right? Like this room right here where we're at, I must describe the dimensions of the room and what are the limitations of the room that you're buying. So in this case, legal description is the same thing. A granting clause that says, hey, I grant it to you or I gift it to you, right? Okay. So that's a little different. That's this part right here. Consideration. That's different. Granting, that means giving or gifting the rights. Giving or gifting the rights. So I'm granting the rights for you to occupy the property, take possession, transfer, and so on, right? I'm granting you the bundle of rights. That's what it is. Once I grant it to you and you accept the deed, now it's yours. But what you're talking about is consideration. Consideration means value, money. Consideration means value or money. So it could be a gift. If I gift it to you for $0, and that's where your question is, if I gift it to you for $0, I might have to explain why it was a gift. That's where it is. Okay? I might have to explain why it was a gift. No, the granting just says, I will grant to you. I will sell to you, or I will gift to you. That's what the granting clause does. That I agree to the transfer. Granting clause simply means I agree to the transfer. Consideration is where the money is. Consideration, and the deed must, as you see here in green, must be accompanied by valuable or good consideration. So it's either monetary or, as an example, love and affection. Because if I transfer the property from my name to my son's name, I'm not going to ask him for money. Hopefully, I'm bribing him for love and affection. Is that what it is? Okay. So this is a good transfer. It's not a valuable transfer, but it's a good consideration. Okay. And the deed must also be signed by the grantor. Remember, the deed is never signed by the grantee. Does not need to be signed by the grantee. It needs to be signed by the grantor. Who's the grantor? The seller. It means that the buyer does not have to sign anything at all. And then this one. Okay, the next page it says be acknowledged. Okay, right here, not required everywhere. Okay, this is not required everywhere. Some states make it a requirement, other states are like, yeah, you don't have to, it's okay. But what does it mean to be acknowledged? Be notarized, for instance. That means you're declaring that you are who you say you are, and the notary says, okay, show me your ID and let me match the signature. So it's not required everywhere to be acknowledged, but it is required in some states that you go in front of an attorney and verify your signature and your person, right? This is to prevent fraud, to prevent the wrong John Smith from showing up, right? That's why we acknowledge it, okay? Some states require acknowledgement to complete a valid conveyance. Some, not all, okay? If you want to record it, then you have to acknowledge it. So you don't have to put in public records. I mentioned this earlier, right? It said have possession of it or record it. Recording is not a requirement. But if you do want to record it, most states require that you have it acknowledged or notarized before you record it. Okay? So to answer your question, Jaquana, yes, it is a requirement in the state of New Jersey. New Jersey required, hold on, I didn't finish. It is a requirement in the state of New Jersey that you acknowledge it before recording. But it's not a requirement for you to acknowledge or notarize a deed without recording. So, that's what I want to explain. So, if I sell it to you, Jaquana, if I sell it to you right now, I'm the grantor, I'm going to sign it. That's it. Property is yours. Nothing else is required. Now you want to go put that deed, well, I got the deed, I want to tell the world that I have the deed, so I'm going to put it into public records. Once you go to public records, you get there and they say, well, Jaquana, Bruno did not notarize this. So you cannot record it. Can you please go back to Bruno to have him notarize it? So the only requirement in New Jersey, right here, the only requirement in New Jersey is that you acknowledge or notarize before recording. Got it? At the transfer, no, it's not a requirement. At the transfer, not a requirement. You want to put it into public records, it is a requirement. Okay, but we'll talk about that once we get so the last week is the state portion, state specific. Okay? Again, right here. Yeah, but I'll explain all that again. Brandon Leon, is it recommended to put the deed into public records? Absolutely. You want to make sure nobody takes advantage of you. So you want to put the deed in public records to show that you are who you say you are, that you're the owner, the one entitled to it, okay? Also, if you intend to refinance later on, usually financing companies will request a title search. So lenders will say, well, show me who you are and show me what's against your property, right? So once they do the search and they see, well, Brandon, your name doesn't show up here. Once they do that, that's it. You're not getting the money until you fix the problem. If this is 5 years later, 10 years later, good luck trying to find me. I'm gone. Does that make sense? I'm not even the real John Smith. I just sold it to you under the John Smith name. So now good luck. That's why you should put it, acknowledge, and put it into public records right away. This way you don't have to deal with issues later. Okay? All right, conveying clauses. So a clause is lines in the deeds that explain certain things or the agreements that were made between the parties, right? So we have clauses and we have covenants. Covenants are conditions or promises by either party. Okay, so covenants are conditions or promises by either party. So when you see the word covenant, that's a deed restriction. You guys, make sure you have the cameras on, please, and pointing at you, at your face. Not the ceiling, not the sofa, not the walls, not your kids, not your dog. It has to be pointed at you. Okay? All right. So, conveyance clauses or transfer clauses. There's something called the granting clause. And this is the only clause that's required. Okay? So as I was explaining to you before, Katya, the granting clause is when I say I intentionally want to transfer to you. That's all it says. I grant, I give the property to you. That's all it is. Okay? It contains the conveyance intentions or transfer intentions, right? Transfer again. Then we have something called habendum clause. Habendum clause is pretty much describes the estate that's being conveyed. If it's fee simple, if it's life estate, whatever. And usually, it doesn't say here, but it begins with the words to have and to hold. So I am giving it to you, fee simple, to have and to hold. I'm giving it to you as a life estate based on your life to have and to hold, right? So it defines the type of possession or the type of ownership that you have. That's the habendum clause. So the type of possession or ownership. You guys already know by now that estate means possession or ownership, right? You have the rights and possession. Guys, if you have any questions, stop me now, put question marks, and I'll address them, okay? YouTubers, if you have questions, drop them in the YouTube live chat. The next one we have is the redendum or reserving clause. This is pretty much what has the restrictions and limitations. So deed restrictions. When you see redendum, if you see it, you probably won't see it in the state exam at all. But if you see redendum, reservations, or restrictions, they mean exactly the same. These are your deed restrictions. Okay, tenendum clause identifies the property. That's it. So tenendum clause says what's being transferred in addition to the land. What's being transferred to you. That's all. These are basic clauses. If you notice, I don't have any of them highlighted, right? So they might not call it in the state exam this way. You just have to know that transfers exist. And there are restrictions, deed restrictions. Fee simple, life estate, we already covered it. So most of the times they don't go by, hey, give me the Latin words. Okay? Give me the Latin words, habendum, right? Redendum and tenendum. Like most of the times in the state exam, you'll never have a question that will have these particular terms. You have to know that they exist. You have to know what they do. So that's the composition of the deed itself, right? Of how it's layered. But that's it. We're saying they're not important to memorize, and hopefully you will not memorize anything. Hopefully you understand, comprehend, and be able to pass, because that's the only way to pass this exam. Comprehension. So memorizing, I know what you meant, but I just wanted to put it out there, okay? Memorizing is not the answer. Memorizing will take you from passing at the first try to 20 times later. True stories, by the way. If you're just trying to remember things versus understand them, right? Trying to memorize, then you will take the exam several times until you pass. You will still pass eventually, but you should pass at the first try. That's all I can tell you. At least my goal is to get you to pass at the first try. That's why I keep on explaining the words over and over. That's why I keep on going back and forth over and over. I'm tired of seeing your face? Never. I'm not tired of seeing anybody's face. Ever. Well, now I cannot even look at your face. You got the whole mask on. All right. True story, by the way. I have Kati here with a mask on, right? In the previous morning session, I had a student on camera with a mask on the whole time. She passed. Great score, by the way. I got the state report. So great score, even in the school exam and the state exam. But during the whole process, the whole 4 weeks, mask on. I'm like, I don't know who's around you, but I think it's just me and you. Like, you guys are not together, right? Except for Chaz and Anthony, and also Joe and Patricia. Okay, nobody else. Legia says probably she wasn't alone. It looked like she was. She never had the distraction. She was dead on looking at the camera all the time. So I don't know. There's some people that panic. My sister had it. Right, I had it a long time ago, but my sister had it recently. My sister had it recently, and after everything was over, she made everybody test before going to her house. I'm like, no, I'll see you next year then. You just had it. You're still testing positive. I mean, the issue here is me getting it, not you, right? But some people get freaked out. Now she stays away from and she's a nurse. See the contraption that she wears at the hospital is crazy. It's like she's going to the moon or something. Has a whole big thing on her head. Huh? Oh yeah, she puts a lot of. She's going nuts with things that are happening. All right, Brandon. So deed clauses is being transferred, and deed covenants is the grantor of the title making certain guarantees to the grantee. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Let me put it right here. Deed clauses is what's being transferred and how it's being transferred, while deed covenants are the restrictions or limitations that are being put onto the grantee, and guarantees as well. Yep. Speaking of which, we're getting to guarantees right now. Covenants or warrant clauses. Okay, covenants or warrant clauses. So, covenant clauses present the grantor's assurance to the grantee. A deed of conveyance, or a deed of transfer, as you guys know by now, contains one or more of the following covenants, depending on the type of deed. So depending on the type of deed, they might include one or all. There's a warrant of season, which I guarantee that I own the property that's being transferred, and I have the right to do so. This is a basic warranty. It says, I'm the owner of the property, right? I own this mouse right here, and I can sell it to you. I can transfer it to you, right? Isn't that true? I own the mouse and I can sell it to you? Let me know in the chat. Is it true that I own the mouse and I can sell to you? Say it again? No, I'm the only one that uses this computer. All right. A lot of people say yes. Calvin says no. Calvin, why? Why did you say no? Let's see what comes after this. YouTubers, you're welcome to participate as well. Calvin, let me know why you said no. Perfect. See? This is perfect because the school owns the mouse, not me. But here I was already selling you something that doesn't belong to me. Warrant of Seasons. It says that I am owner of the property, and when I transfer it to you, I'm seized of the property, so I can no longer touch it. You are the ones. Okay? Christine says, but you said you owned it. Yeah. All right, I can say a lot of things. Remember John Smith? I'm John Smith for now. And I'm the John Smith that's selling this to you. Okay. You guys understand now? Just because I say that I own it doesn't really mean, Ruth is like, nope. Just because I say that I own it doesn't really mean that I own it. There has to be proof with it. That's why we do title searches. That's why you need to request proof. There you go. All right, hold on. I'm getting good messages here. Hold on. I think you need to repeat that. I'm not getting covenant. Okay. I'll explain covenant in a second. Be right there. Robin asks, but don't you own the school? I do. I'm one of the owners of the school. I'm not the owner of the school. But because I own something, doesn't mean I have the right to transfer something that belongs to the company. Okay? So you guys will realize this real quick. That when you have partners, the decision is not made by one, it's made by two or more. So can I sell something to you? No, the school can. And I have to either authorize the sale by the school, or both partners need to authorize the sale by the school, not me. Okay, me, I'm an individual. Okay, Robin, let me ask you something. If for instance, you and your spouse own the property, can you sell it by yourself? You can come to me and say, Bruno, you want to buy my house? And I'll say, yes, I want to buy it. But can you sell it? That's the question. Whoever's on record to be the owner of this is the one that can sell, not me. So if the sale happens, was it a valid sale? No. And that's why we have a warrant or a guarantee, Ruth. Warrant or guarantee or promise of something. So a covenant is, as it says here, is an assurance, a promise, guarantee. Okay? So covenants are promises, guarantees, assurance, right? So I'm assuring you, that's why I said warrant of season, I'm assuring you that I am the owner. I'm assuring you that I can sell it to you. Meanwhile, so let's go to Miss Loyal since she asked the question. Meanwhile, I'm telling you, right, that I can sell this to you. And I'm crossing my fingers behind my back. It's not true. Crossing my toes too. Cannot see those. But just because I promise, how many times have you been lied to? Tell me, raise your hand if you've never been lied to. Okay, raise your hand if you never, Denise is like, no, never. Raise your hand, right, if you were never sold something that was not what they promised to be. Whoever was selling it to you. Like you were never sold something. Tati, Where? All right. You never heard of somebody at Best Buy or something like that? Hey, look, these were supposed to be delivered, but we had an overflow of orders, and actually we have more orders than we can deliver right now. So these are like $10 instead of $1,000. You want to buy it now, right? You never heard of those stories? Where they're selling something that just fell off the truck? Or they have too many orders, so they need to sell it. They cannot get back to the warehouse with that in the truck. Right? You never heard of those? Those are the effects. Or you never bought something online that they promised to be amazing and it comes to you and it's not? Or even better, you saw a commercial of a hamburger and you get there, the hamburger was like this, and you get there, the hamburger is like this. Huh? Tell me you never. Or the pizza where that cheese is so amazing when you're cutting the slice and you see it on TV, but when it gets to you, it's like, just dropped. Come on. You're lying already by saying you've never been lied to or deceived. All right? Used to selling lock phones, but that doesn't mean it. Well, yeah, then they're locked. Let's see. Brandon, unless you have a warrant of season in order to sell it? No, a warrant is just you guaranteeing something. You don't have a warrant of season. You are giving that warrant or that assurance of season, of guarantee. That's all. Brandon, would that be a JT? JT is a joint tenancy. So it's how we own it together. It's not the right to sell. It's how we own it together. Covenant equals warranty, promise, assurance, guarantee. All this stuff. And then 49th Street, El Parche, Union City. Highly recommend massive hamburgers, Colombian style. Putting that out there. You guys understand that the holidays are over. Like, we're going into diet mode. And here you come and put this. Massive hamburgers. Go eat, Colombian style. All right. So the tenendum clause assures that it has good quality as you're being told. No, tenendum. No, hold on. Tenendum clause simply means you're transferring. What is the property that you're transferring? I'm sorry. What is the property that you're transferring? That's all the tenendum clause is about. Identifies the property being transferred. Okay. Leisure says, if you are the officer of the corporation, you can sell without the others. Depending on how the operating agreement is stipulated, yes. What powers do I have? What can I do? Right? And you know this. So it depends on how the structure was built. Right? So this is an LLC. We have to have an operating agreement. So explaining who can do what. I cannot open an account without him, or vice versa. So that's the way we structured it. I cannot go open or sign stuff without my partner, and my partner cannot open or go sign stuff without me. If he does it, then we can ask for a divorce. That's pretty much how we stipulated it. Okay. She saved this for last. Like, let everybody talk, and I'm going to slide it right in there that you could have sold that mouse regardless of you being the school or not. Yeah, but again, I'm selling school property. It's not me as an individual. I cannot give a receipt. So let's go back to this. I cannot give a receipt to Robin that says from Bruno to Robin when this was not mine. I cannot. The receipt has to say New Direction School. I'm selling it on behalf of New Direction School. That's it. Right? So the school is still the one selling, not me. So we go back to the same point. Who does this belong to? School. The school is the one selling. I can sign off on it, but if the receipt is from the school, not me. Okay? Not in my personal name, because it's not mine. Christine, why are you yelling? I hate when people yell. Okay? Just give me right now a big not you. Capital letters. I hate when people type in capital letters. You're fired. We're about to go on the break. Give me a second. All right, so the next one is warranty of quiet enjoyment. Okay, so warranty is another guarantee. It's another assurance or promise. I'm promising you that you will not be disturbed by third-party title disputes. So there's nobody else that can claim title to the land. So goes back to what I was saying. So can I sell the property by myself? Yeah, but depending on the agreement we had, my partner, or either as a business or as an individual, my partner can dispute and say, no. Bruno could never have sold this because I did not sign it, whatever way the structure is. So depending on the agreements we have, I might not be able to sell you at all. But I'm promising you quiet enjoyment. Nobody else, no other party is going to come and claim it at all. Nobody else has the right to it. So do you guys remember right at the beginning of this chapter, we had 3 people that purchased the land? Sandra, Douglas, and Tanya. You guys remember that? So imagine if Tanya has the deeds, right? And I put these promises or guarantees, right? So yes, warrants are promises. So I'm putting this promise or guarantee or assurance, means the same, to Tanya. And then all of a sudden here comes Douglas and Sandra and say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? This is my house. I paid for it. I paid for it first. The other one says I paid for it the most. And Tanya's like, yeah, but I have the deed, right? With a bunch of warranties. So that's what it is. The warranty of quiet enjoyment is me literally telling you nobody else other than you right now can claim the property. I sold it to you free and clear. It's now yours. Okay? There's the warrant of further assurance. That means if there's any issues with the title, right? Come back to me. I'll clear those issues. I'll figure it out. I'll do backflips. I'll do whatever I need to do to clear those issues. All right? That's further assurance. So on top of these warranties or promises or guarantees, on top of those, I'm giving you even more guarantee or assurance, right? And this is the crazy one. Warranty forever. All right, so let me address warrants real quick. Again, I already mentioned that they're promises or assurance. Let me address warrants. Guys, make sure your names are correct. Okay, I'm just looking at the names real quick. Make sure your names are correct, first and last name. Okay, please. I have a Crypto Queen vibes. Make sure your name is correct. So this is a phone. The phone is, in this case, is from Samsung. When I bought the phone, it came with a warranty. It's called a manufacturer's warranty, right? What is a warranty? It's a warrant. It's a promise. It's a guarantee or assurance that if there's any issues with the phone, bring it back to the factory. Just like when you buy a car, bring it back to the factory, to the manufacturer. That's what it is. They'll fix it, right? That's a warranty. I'm giving it to you with a guarantee or promise. If there's any issues, bring it back. I got you. This is different from insurance. There's warranties, which are assurance, right? And there's insurance. Insurance is, if I drop this, I damage, insurance will pay for it. Assurance or warranty is, hey, there shouldn't be any problems, but if there's problems, come back to the manufacturer. You guys got it? So all these warranties or promises that we're making is, I am the one issuing the deed. I'm selling it to you, so I'm issuing the deed. If there's any issues with it, come back to the manufacturer, meaning come back to me and I'll fix it. Got it? Come back to me and I'll fix it. All right. I see there. Well, D, you got to put your name correctly, please, so I can address it. And good to see you. Brandon, can warrants be used as evidence in court? Absolutely. Same thing as, okay, let me ask you again. There's a car, there's a phone, whatever the situation might be. You, let's say there's an issue with it. You go to the dealer and say, hey, dealer, there's an issue with the car. It's covered under the warranty. If the dealer says, no, we're not going to fix it, but yet it's listed in the warranty, can you sue the dealer? The same concept. Can Samsung not fix the problem if it's a manufacturer's issue that's covered by the warranty? Right? They have to fix it. They have to fix it. All right. Can they be placed in public records as well, or does it come with the deed? So that's part of the deed. All this is part of the deed. It will be written in the deed. Whatever the promises or warranties will be part of the deed. So public records, yeah, if it's recorded. Okay. D, I'm going to call you out every single time. You know that. All right. So warranty forever. That means I promise that forever and ever and ever, and ever and ever and ever, and ever and ever and ever, you can always come back to me. So think about it this way. If you buy a car, it comes with a 10-year warranty or 100,000 miles as an example, right? 2 years later, you sell the car. Whoever buys the car, do they have the warranty as well or no? Of course. So the warranty is transferable, okay? The warranty is transferable from owner to owner. So this warranty forever is me telling you, hey, there's any issues in the future, okay? The warranty is I sold to Robin, Robin sold to Ligia, Ligia sells to Victor, and so on. But now Victor's trying to sell to Joanna, right? And Victor, second time, you're fired. I'm telling you right now. Doesn't matter how many snacks you bring or whatever, you're fired. Don't put alarms in my class or phones ringing in my class. Hey. What kind of phone is that? Same. All right, so pretty much right now, if Victor's trying to sell to Joanna and there's an issue with the title, like somebody else showed up, like Katya showed up with her iPhone and said, hey, Victor, you cannot sell this because it rightfully belongs to me, right? Then Victor has to sue Ligia, Ligia has to sue Robin, Robin has to sue me. So it's going to trickle all the way up back to me because I'm the one that gave the warranty. Just like if I sold you the car and there's an issue, you don't come after the person that sold to you directly, right? If the manufacturer does not fix, you're suing all of the people involved. From the manufacturer, the first sale, to the second sale, to the third sale, you involve everybody because the warranty was there. You guys understand? The warranty forever means you are protected forever. I got you, right? And that's a crazy, crazy, crazy deal. This doesn't happen as much anymore. No. We're gonna go over other deeds that we use nowadays. Yeah. There's warranty of encumbrances also. Guys, what is an encumbrance? Let me know in the chat. Cloud, perfect. Cloud, burden, restriction, limitation. So what I'm guaranteeing right now when I sell to you guys, is that there's no other encumbrances other than the ones we agreed to. So if I agreed to transfer the property to you with a mortgage that's a low interest or whatever it is, right? So if I sold the property to you and you took over the mortgage, right? Then we agree that it's sold with a mortgage. Simple. There's no other encumbrances that will show up. If we talk about a shared driveway, hey, listen, there's no other encumbrance except the shared driveway. I can't do anything with it. Okay? So we're guaranteeing that there's no other encumbrances than the ones that we expressly named. Calvin? Perfect. Warranty against Grantors Act. Okay, so this is kind of like the most common right now. Pretty much we're saying, I don't guarantee the future, I don't guarantee the past, I guarantee while I had the property. I'm the grantor, and my acts on the property were simply or solely during my time, and I'm fully responsible for anything that pops up. I don't guarantee the previous owner, or the one before that, or the one before that. And look, in the future, I have no idea either. So that's all I guarantee. That's the only warranty or promise or insurance. I have done nothing to impair or damage the title. Okay, we're about to go on the break. We're finishing this part right here. So that was a warranty deed. We have now a bargain and sale deed. That means we negotiated, bargain and sale deed as it's called. We negotiated, right? And it says in the bargain and sale deed, the grantor covenants or promises or guarantees, right? Or assures, because it means the same, that the covenants, the title is valid, but may or may not warrant against encumbrances or promises to defend against claims by other parties. Okay? So, bargain and sale deed. I promise that I've done what I've done, but I don't guarantee what other people have done. Simple as that. I don't know what the previous owner did. I don't know what the next owner is going to do. I only promise what I've done. So, I own, but I won't defend. That's what it means. The general warranty deed says, I own and I will defend. Okay? Just a correction here. It says it's the most commonly used deed. It's not anymore. In the state of New Jersey, for instance, it's not at all. Okay? Many states, they're dropping the general warranty deed to stay with this one, the special warranty deed. Okay? Special warranty, I want you guys to think of it as a limited warranty. Think about it as limited warranty. Have you guys ever heard of limited warranties? Right? Everybody goes like, oh, I have a warranty on this. And then when you go claim it, they're like, yeah, it's limited. So we don't cover this, we don't cover that. Technically, we don't cover anything except for 1, 2, 3 things. That's it. It's limited warranty. So guys, that's what we're saying here. A limited warranty, we're limiting, instead of all the warranties, all the guarantees, we have just a few. Okay? Correct. Correct. So when I said all these warranties that we went over here, all these warranties, so if it's a general warranty, includes all. If it's a bargain and sale, includes some. If it's a limited sale, includes some of these guarantees as well, not all of them. Okay? So with a special warranty, I own and I will defend against my own acts only. So it's limited to my acts. All right, Brandon, what's the most common warranty deed in New Jersey? So it's not the most common warranty deed. Not the most common warranty deed. It's the most common deed in New Jersey. It's it's called a bargain and sale deed with covenants against Grantors Act or special warranty deed. So that's the most common use in New Jersey. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you it's not a warranty deed, right? Because when we talk about warranty deeds, we're talking about guaranteeing everything, right? Or nothing. For instance, this one guarantees nothing at all. A quitclaim deed guarantees nothing at all. Hey, Addie, I see you there. Okay, on YouTube. Great. Anna, you have a question? I'll wait for you. Because we're going on a break right after quitclaim deed. Anna, can you distinguish between bargain and sale deed and special warranty deed? Yes. So there's a straight bargain and sale deed and there's a special warranty deed. Both of them are limited. Okay. The difference is in a bargain and a sale deed, we use it more towards let's say tax foreclosures or mortgage foreclosures. In a bargain and sale deed or a straight bargain and sale deed, and we'll go over this better when we get to the state portion, because in New Jersey we special. But the difference is in a bargain and sale deed, when the bank the sheriff or the taxing entity transfers the property to you, they're saying, hey, I have the right to transfer. That's it. You should have done your title research to see if there's more people that can claim the property. We have the right to transfer because we foreclosed. It was based on that right. So that's a bargain or straight bargain and sale deed. It's limited to the warranty of season. That's it. We don't have any other warranties. At least I can claim that I own it because I have that right. In a special warranty deed or limited warranty deed, it's me, the seller, telling you, I promise, right here, that I own it and will defend against my own acts only. So the seller is saying, I'm aware of what I've done while I had the property, and I can guarantee you that I've done nothing further. So if my actions hurt you in the future, come back to me. That's pretty much the difference. In one of them, the bank is like, I sold it to you because I have the right to sell, and we don't promise or guarantee anything else. In the special warranty, we're saying, I own it, and I will guarantee against the encumbrances that I've put this property through or any other actions that could have endangered the title to the property. Okay? That's pretty much the difference between them. Chaz is asking, is that sold as is, the quitclaim deed? So, very good question. And the sold as is that you're talking about, it is correct. Because we're selling title as is. The title, not the house. We're not talking about the conditions of the house. We're talking about title. Remember, this whole chapter is about transfer of title. So we're not talking about the conditions of the house. I'm telling you, if there's issues with the title, that's your problem, as is. Okay? Quitclaim deed. So let me show you something. The quitclaim deed is pretty much this. Let's say I own it. Okay? I own the property 100%. This is just one of the examples for quitclaim deed. I own the property 100%. Then, what does Bruno decide to do? Get married. So now there's Bruno and spouse, right? And what usually happens in marriages? You guys did not hear that one, did you? It said divorce. What happens in marriage is divorce. Hi, Carly said the same thing. All right, so what I was saying is, it could happen to everybody. So, what happens in marriages is, hey, listen, I love you, you love me, and this is an amazing relationship. So why would you have your properties under your name only? Let's put everything together, right? So at this moment, here's what we're going to do. I keep 50% ownership, and I quit 50% ownership to the spouse. So I quit the claim to the property. I quit the claim to the property. That's why I quit claim deed. So I used to have 100% claim. Now I only have 50% because I give up or I quit the other 50 to the spouse. Okay? And then since you talked about divorce, then we divorce. Yep, that's when I quit the other 50, and the spouse now has 100%, the ex-spouse. All right, so this is where we use, and I'm joking, but this is where we use the quitclaim deed most often. It's transfers within family or divorces, right? So we're quitting the claims, but we're also saying, hey, whatever's there is there. So it's as is, right? Don't come after me for anything else. It's as is. I don't know if there's value, right? We're talking about title. we're not selling the house as is, Wafa. We're not selling the house as is. We're talking about title. I don't know the conditions of the property, and right now I'm not talking about the conditions of the property. I'm talking about I own the property, and I transferred the title to the property, because this chapter is about title. I transferred the title of the property to somebody else. The title is as is. So if there's further issues with the title, don't come back to me. That's what the quitclaim deed does. If there's any further issues with the title, okay? I may own, I may not own, and I won't defend. Meaning you can't come after me. Go ahead, take the house, deal with it. You can't sue me at all. Okay? Can't go back to anybody. Not with this one. Okay? So this is the one that has no warranties, no promises, no guarantees, no nothing. It's I transfer title, deal with it. Literally, that's what it is. The title as is. Not the house, it's the title. The ownership as is. Right there? All right, so there's a question here. Let's see. So on the state exam, if they ask you which of the most common warranties used, the answer is special warranty deed or bargain and sale. Well, that's the one that's used the most in New Jersey. So it's a special warranty or the bargain and sale deed. Yeah. It's the one that's most used in New Jersey. Okay? It's the normal deed used in New Jersey. Other states might have the warranty deed as the most common. In New Jersey, we have the special warranty deed, or means the same, special warranty or bargain and sale deed with covenants, with guarantees, with limited guarantees. All right. We're going to skip special purpose deeds for now because it doesn't matter. We're going to skip transfer tax. We have a chapter just for that. We're going to go on a break and then come back to wills. Okay? So it is 7:36 right now. Guys, I'm going to give you 9 minutes. We're going to be back at 7:45. All right? YouTubers, I'm going to close this session and I'll open one right after. Okay? So I'll see you guys at 7:45.